as the only black member of the panel, I'm sitting here thinking, what is the correct racial etiquette these days? Do I go to you first? Do I not go to you first? We've got a BBC show, Question Time. I remember the presenter had a similar kind of topic and went to the black member of the panel for his response first. And he turned around and said, you're coming to me because I'm a black person and that in itself is racist. So I've got to be honest, I'm sitting here getting myself in a muddle thinking to myself, goodness me, if I go to you, am I racist? If I don't go to you first, am I racist? I don't know. So can I just start with you?
You can start with me, Michelle.
Now, this is just absolutely bonkers. For this kind of conversation to be taking place in the first place, where deciding whether or not to go to a particular person to ask them a question would be considered racist just because they are of a certain skin tone. So if you go to the black person first, it might be seen as racist. If you go to the black person last, it might be seen as racist. So this is a case of do your damned, don't your damned. And it just muddles up the whole conversation because this is another human being. Why should it matter the color of his skin? Why should it matter whether he is called on first or called on last based on the color of his skin? I mean, if he has something interesting to say and is there for a reason, they're going to call on him. So how do people make that assumption even without any evidence that that is what is happening? And this just puts a lot of white people in a difficult position. It puts them in a tight corner where they don't even know how to navigate. They don't know how to interact with black people because anything they do may be misconstrued or anything they do may be construed as racist or as racism. So how do people interact with themselves? Doing fully well that this thing called racist is nothing. It's only skin deep. It's just melanin. It's just that some people produce more melanin than other people. And that has now become a touch point where if you don't go to a certain person that has a certain skin tone first, it is regarded as racist. If you go to them first, it may be regarded as racist, just probably depending on how that person is feeling at that particular point in time. It's just madness.
Oh, that's all good. I know you're not racist, so no concerns here.
Your thoughts on all this?
Well, I feel vindicated because 2 years ago I said that this organization was a disingenuous scam, and it has proven itself to be a disingenuous scam. Yeah. The Black Lives Matter organization, this foundation in the USA, is a grift. They have received millions upon millions of dollars, I believe over $100 million. I think just in 2020, it was close to 100 million. So this organization has been capitalizing off of unfortunate deaths and tragedies and guilt-tripping people to send them lots of money and donations, which I believe most people think is going to go to a good cause. And instead, they are paying themselves 6- and 7-figure salaries. They're flying around in private jets. They bought a $6 million mansion. They've got over, what was it? It's written here. They have, I think they invested $32 million in stocks in 2020 with donation money. So this is an outright scam. So
now, it's unfortunate that something like this is happening. How people are getting rich off of the tragedies that happen to other people. How people are getting rich off of the pain, the sorrow that happened to some other person you claim to be of your own race, some other person you claim to be your own kin. You're profiting off their pain, you're profiting off their sorrow, you're profiting off their lives, and even the family members might not even be getting anything. And some people would be donating to BLM and these organizations with the wrong notion that probably the members of the families of these victims will be helped. But I don't think that's the case. So if this is a non-profit organization and then they are making investments and they're paying themselves bogus salaries, and then you ask yourself, what exactly is the purpose of this organization in the first place? Whose interest is it serving? Is it serving the interest of the people, the victims, or is it just serving the interest of people who want to line their pockets and they've seen a social issue that they can capitalize on to line their pockets?
When we talk about Black Lives Matter, it's important to note that this is a semantically overloaded phrase intentionally. It refers to at least 3 different things. There is the statement, the basic phrase, Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. Everybody agrees, every decent human being around the world, across the political spectrum, agrees that Black Lives Matter because all human lives matter and should be treated with respect and dignity. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is the organization. or organizations. I think in the USA, this one we're referring to is the primary Black Lives Matter organization. And a lot of people don't know that there is an organization with founders, with people who are receiving the money. It's a nonprofit, and they've been raking it in. They've been raking in the money over the past few years. And as we've seen here, they have been spending it on enriching themselves. And it's essentially money laundering, I think, what they've done here.
That's the tricky thing. So Black Lives Matter, the idea of Black Lives Matter, of course, everybody agrees that Black Lives Matter. So in that sense, if you critique the organization, it's as if you are critiquing, you're saying, oh, do you mean Black lives do not matter, when you are critiquing the organization itself. So there's a need to separate both the ideology of Black Lives Matter itself and the organization that's trying to profit off Black lives, where they're raking in millions of dollars from these tragedies. It doesn't make any sense. So most people would definitely agree that, yes, Black lives do matter. And Black lives should matter. It shouldn't be taken away arbitrarily. And if there are cases where people have been killed and it is unjustified, definitely there should be a social outcry and justice should be served. But that's different. That's different from an organization that's just bent on making money off the pain of other people. And then when you criticize it, it seems as if you are criticizing the concept of Black lives. It seems as if you are saying Black lives do not matter, which is something entirely different.
Is most likely illegal.
Yeah, so I have to say that they would say in their own defense that they've not done anything wrong.
Well, you mean anyone can look at these articles and I'm not going to, I mean, these numbers here. Paid the baby father $970,000 for creative services, paid the brother the $840,000 for security. Fellow director got $2.1 million. This is all just in 1 year.